Hello, dear fire signs, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. Today I'm going to be doing a general tarot reading, an energy reading, and an astrology reading for yourselves. And it's going to basically incorporate the month of June 2023. So, now the first thing I want to point out is the fact that Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus and Jupiter is for Leos, it's falling in the house of work. So I have predicted in the previous video with Jupiter and the new moon in Taurus that Leos are going to achieve some major success this year and the next year, and they're going to have this like big public recognition. But as with Jupiter, it expands even the bad. So if you have been suffering from a bad reputation, for example, this could be enhanced right now. But definitely in terms of career and progression and enhancement in that field, definitely there's going to be a big expansion. And I predict as well that there's going to be a lot of financial expansion for Leos. They could be getting a very good job offer, like a dream career, establishing themselves within the career field, and so on. So definitely expansion happening in the career field, in the career of public recognition. You may find yourself that if you're working in a very high position, now the relationships between people of authority will be better, generally better. A relationship with your boss, for example, a person like of high authority or who has holds a very high position. Now, this is very enhanced for you, Leo. So as I mentioned before, you're finally going to get the public recognition that you want so much, and it's going to make you feel really good at your job. There's new job offers, there's new career paths, new career progressions that you can look forward to. At the same time, Saturn in Pisces is actually falling into your eighth house. So the eighth house rules other people's money, your spouse's money, your partner's money, their inheritance. It can be taxes, it can be deaths, sexuality, occultism, esotericism, transformation. There's the things we have to leave behind, we have to transform, we need to let go. So there's going to be a restriction happening in that field. Whether there's going to be, and I really hate saying this, but either there's going to be like a death in the family or something that you have to confront that's connected to these themes. It's almost like you will have to confront something that makes you feel really uncomfortable, or there's also to do with your partner's money. So, for example, if you're having a divorce, Leos, there might be a lengthy process to get that income, for example. At the same time, Saturn, because it rules death, I really hate saying this, but could be that you could have a near death experience or you could come close to the other side. And when I say that, it doesn't necessarily have to be so negative, doesn't have to be a death experience, but it could be something to do with your health or like a health situation, something that you have overlooked, for example. Something to also do with someone in your family, for example. It can also mean confronting with your inner demons or maybe exploring a little bit more of that dark aspects of life. It could also mean like sacrificing big goals to achieve what you want. It's like this is like hard determination. It's a lot of discipline. It's basically like cutting down on the fun to have ends meet, or to live, to live life in a completely new way, if that even makes sense. If you're working within the bank field or you're managing other people's money, now you could be establishing a career in that as a banker, as a financial advisor, as a financial analyst. Or I keep seeing and hearing tech companies. If you're working in a tech company now, this is a very good time for you to be responsible with your spouse's money and to be very responsible with other people's money or with inheritance. So it's not also negative and bad, obviously, but there's going to be a transformation happening with that field, if that makes sense. For the eighth house is quite a dramatic house. It's a house of the hidden. It's It's a bit to do with Scorpio, with death and rebirth. So watch out for a lot of themes of that. But as I said, not everything is so dramatic and fatalistic. It's just to watch out for these things. I think if you're handling any sort of money, just be careful. Or if you work in banking, or if you're working and you're dealing with people's taxes, just pay attention there. Make sure it's done properly. Have discipline surrounding that, and everything will be fine. Now, for Aries, you have a an interesting year ahead. The next 3 years ahead, you have Jupiter in Taurus falling into your second house, expanding your finances, expanding your comfort zone. You might feel very comfortable where you are. You might maybe overindulge in, you might be too impulsive spending that money, or a bit reckless. You have to be very careful, but you might get a large sum of money at the moment, and you definitely might be spending that on making your space very comfortable, or pursuing something that gives you a lot of pleasure. So definitely it's a it's a good 2 years, 1 to 2 years, to expand your financial system, save a lot of money, gather a lot of money with your hard work. So this is a good energy, an excellent energy for that. At the same time, you will have Saturn in Pisces falling in your 12th house. So there might be some obstacles, some restriction to do. It's with your subconscious. It's with foreign lands. It's to do, basically having to face your fears and deal with your fears at this moment. You might have a guru, or like a spiritual teacher stepping into your life, someone who's significantly older, or like a partner who's much older than you, or let's say around maybe I wouldn't say 5, maybe to 10 years older, and might step into your life to teach you very valuable lessons, and basically to face your subconscious fears at the moment. You need to watch your nerves, you need to watch your mental health at the moment, you need to watch your emotional state of mind, because there could be a lot of restrictions surrounding that. So you just have to be careful not to let things spiral out of control, even though this is going to be a good year for building up a financial empire. You might be introspecting more, you might feel more, I wouldn't say lonely, but you're definitely going to feel like you have to like retreat for a little bit, like work on yourself, working on your spirituality if you're very spiritual, basically just retrieving from all the noise, from that outside noise, in order to be able to kind of sit with yourself and face your fears and face your subconscious. And there's going to be maybe a little feeling of loneliness. There's going to be like a feeling of being isolated from the world for a while, but that's not going to last too long. So don't fret. So then we have Sagittarius. It's an interesting year for Sagittarius as well. We have a fourth house Saturn sitting in the fourth house. Basically, the themes of your roots, your family, your home. So there's going to be, either if you're looking to buy a home, or you're looking to establish yourself someone, there's going to be a restriction happening there. In trying to like really establish yourself properly, or have a place to call home in a way. There's definitely, Saturn will force us to like take responsibility within the home life. So taking responsibility with our family members, taking responsibility with our family, because Sagittarius, they often, it's difficult to pin them down. It's difficult to make them settle. It's difficult to take away their freedom, because they're very much in love with their freedom and with their ability to have that freedom. So here it's very important that to not restrict them in that way, because then you could feel like you might want to escape this, or you feel too tied down to a place because you like traveling and you like moving so much. At the same time, we have Jupiter in Taurus, falling into your house of work responsibilities, health, and day-to-day activities. So right now, working on your duties, your day-to-day activities, there's definitely going to be expansion in this area, in the area of work, of service. If you're a civil servant, or you're working for like a government, you could be getting a government job. something very day to day, like day to day service, this is going to be very good for your health. Is just not to have stress at home because of Saturn, because then it could negatively affect your health. It could make you very stressed out. But health should be quite good for Sagittarius. You're definitely going to be looking after your health if you've been having suffering from a disease, or you've been suffering from ill health lately. Now, this is definitely going to get 10 times better than what it was getting before, for sure. At the same time, you have to really focus on the area of expansion, which is your sixth house for the next 2 years. You could be getting a new job. Yeah, there's could be a lot of work involved. You might maybe paint your house, or you might be looking after someone. There's gonna be a lot of activity surrounding your home as well. So definitely maybe buying a new home, like you're structuring your home or rebuilding a home or repainting it, something like that for sure. So that's a very good year for health. Definitely, if you have been having unhealthy habits, bad eating habits, or you haven't been exercising a lot, being very physically active, now this is a good time to finally get into that workout regime or that good diet you've been thinking about. So definitely this is going to be a great year for that. It's almost like you could be doing a lot of different kinds of jobs right now to kind of keep going, or maybe to feed your family or something similar that I'm being shown at the moment. um, so this is the effects of Jupiter and Saturn for the signs. And now let's see what the tarot cards actually say, because I have a lot of interesting thing um, that the cards are showing me. Now, when it comes to the tarot cards, the first card that I've pulled is the Four of Pentacles, and it's an energy of holding on to our possessions. Whether you fire signs have been having some financial issues lately, and I'm picking up on the financial issues. It's like basically like penny pinching. It's a bit of everything. It's holding on to people, holding on to possession. It's almost like being so afraid to let go, um, in fear that we might lose that material possession, or that control that we have another other person, or we find ourselves doubting doubting our abilities to earn money or to keep the money, like what's going on here. But there's definitely like a fear of letting go, and you really need to release that fear. You need to really let go of that. And I feel this is like basically poisoning you a little bit in a way. So it's good to let go of that energy, whatever you're holding back as well. You really should say it out open. Now with the full moon happening in Sagittarius. So with the full moon happening in Sagittarius, especially for Sagittarius, it fell into your first house, and that happened on the 4th of June. So now it's been 2 days after. So whatever happened that day, it definitely was. So between the first and the seventh house. So whether you had an argument with your partner, or with your loved one, or with your colleagues, there was like a confrontation of some sort. And I feel like that has a lot to do with this holding on to something, being very afraid to lose that, or being afraid to lose a person, or lose your possession, or like generally lose control over something. It's almost like you're blocking yourself off from this opportunity. And it's this financial opportunity or this work opportunity. There's something that you're very hesitant about. But know that sometimes we are very hesitant. It's because our intuition is telling us that something's wrong. And when your intuition is telling that something's wrong, then you know that that there's something to do with it. I also feel that would have a lot to do with a loved one, especially even for Leos. The full moon happened in their fifth house, and let me see here now for Aries, it would have happened in their house of core belief system and philosophy and spirituality. So it's almost like I feel that someone might have challenged, or someone's going to challenge your belief system, or so you feel like maybe because the judgment card also appears here. It's like you're almost like really afraid someone's going to judge you for what you did, or someone's going to definitely project a lot of judgment, or you have been projecting a lot of judgment towards someone. But there's definitely like a conflict that I'm picking up on, and it's a conflict to do with your professional life and a conflict to do with your romantic department. You need to establish what do you want from a partner, what's going on, what is the root cause of all these issues, what is the root cause of all these arguments, or who have you actually been fighting? Because I feel and I see almost like you're into this fighting mode, into this like survival mode. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but there's definitely this something to do with like being very alert and being very mindful of people, that you might have people around you that judge you a lot, or they judge your action, or they don't like a family member that doesn't approve of your action, or they very just nitpicking and being very very judgmental in a way. This is also a card that really, really points out that there's an ending to a karmic cycle. So if you have been facing hardships, you hadn't had it easy in the last while, this is definitely the cards of like an emotional release, sudden release. And if you've been separated for someone for a long time, now there could be a time where you could consider a reunion of some sort. There's definitely like a big fear of judgment and losing control at the moment, and there could have been some financial issues that might make you really worried. And then at the end, we have the King of Wands standing here. So this speaks a lot about the embodied energy of our confidence. So you might have someone in your life who is also a fire sign or embodies the energy of a fire sign, as stated, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Now this is an older person, above, I would say, above the age of 45, like a father figure as well. And this person is like almost a bit egocentric. He's very self-centered, and you might have some conflicts with this person at the moment, or this person was the one judging you, or you could have like judged this person. But I more feel than the judgment came from this person, you know, and that made you feel very insecure. But I feel that you, fire signs, you already have that strong confidence and that drive and that ambition, and you just have to keep going forward. Now this is the end of a karmic cycle for you, and it's very good that you leave behind what doesn't work for you anymore, and you move on into a complete like metamorphosis of the character. At this time, it's inviting you to take charge of your love life. If you have been single for a while, definitely take charge of that. You might come across a person who's very strong in June, who's very passionate, who's very independent and a bit self centered. So, like, are you ready for that energy? Because this person is very strong, you know? And if you don't match that energy, you're basically gonna feel it, you know? At the same time, there could be a boss, for example, someone who can help you advance in your career. And this is really good because, like, almost like you need the help of this person to advance. And I'm hearing that it's specifically for Aries and Leos. With Sagittarius, I feel they will have more ease getting around, you know. But in this case, this person might show up in your life, and it's kind of helping you advance. It's like, or you help someone advance because ultimately you become that boss or mentor in that place where you want to advance in, if that makes sense. The emphasis here, especially with the judgment card, is to have a lot of open communication with your partner if you're in a committed relationship. I don't see a separation or anything like that. But I see that if you're in a relationship, you really need to be open with each other and communicate openly, not behind someone's back, to as best as you can try to avoid the drama. At the same time, with your money that's coming off so strong for this month, just be careful with your money, with how you handle it, who you give it to. You just will have to put some lenses into your financial situation, and really reassess all your finances. So, whatever is going on, it's a good time to do that. So, this is it from me, and I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for more.